So why do you feel like you're gonna do a better job than Joe Biden?
I mean, I feel pretty good. I mean, because I don't know anything about that stuff. So I feel pretty good.
I tell you, man.
I was pretty
This
glad.
dude needs to go work for Trump. Like for real. He really needs to
No,
work.
that would be a nightmare.
He just
That
making
would
the
be a
Trump
nightmare.
feelings, you hear me?
Trump has got, what is it do? Color get worried?
Okay. I'm gonna do that today or tomorrow. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God, in the basement.
We gotta get some because I'm gonna put some stuff together.
You have a camera? Play? You have a camera? Play?
Yeah. We're doing it today. Not for real. I guess.
I don't know. I mean, what are they talking about? Oh, I'm just gonna say, I don't have that kind of energy right now to do a debate.
So how do you feel about Biden?
Cincinnati,
How do you feel about Biden?
right now?
Really?
You want to go right now?
Hey, I got time.
I think Joe Biden is unqualified to run.
Why do you think Joe Biden is unqualified to run?
Because
Okay, like the
do I really need to say it though? Like, I think
yeah, you need to say it.
he doesn't remember what he said next. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like,
So you think he wouldn't be good because he wouldn't remember nothing?
he won't. No, and the thing is, the things that he said, like at his so-called like small rallies, I don't know what they even are, but like it didn't make sense at all. I was thinking shots. I'm just saying, like, I don't know what they even are. Like, you know, it's, I mean, I look at Donald Trump's rallies and I can see it's a rally. I mean, it's obvious. It's just like one person.
But people come out to Joe Biden stuff like that too.
Oh, I mean, but what kind of crowd size? That was the thing. The other thing I think we realized you have to actually like if Trump will have a rally, it'd be crazy. But then Hillary will have one that wouldn't be crazy. That's not then I remember seeing a debate online on TV that you put the crowd size and you know, if you get a grand, some voters or something like that. So I don't know. Is that a reflection of
I think it's the person. Because I mean, if you really pay attention, like I've never seen people go to rallies and act like this. Like even when it came out of George Bush, nobody was to me, I never heard a bunch of hatred, rhetoric, all that stuff like that. Yeah, like people are at the rally punching and fighting and carrying on, and I'm just like, when did we start this? When was this okay? When did political people get up and say things like, back in the day, people like that would have been handled? What do you mean by that? Trump said that. And he comes in and says, I need the facts. I need to see the clip.
So, sure, you can imagine more united or less united in that. I would say it's less, because here's the thing, someone 36 saw that.
PT, that's us. So I mean, Trey, do you think, and I mean, keep that same passion. Do you feel that we're in a good state as a country?
I don't think so.
So then, what you saying you don't think so, and we just kind of like told you what's going on. So I'm gonna ask you a question again. What, with you feeling that the country is at a divide, what makes you think that Trump is capable of continuing to lead this country? Remember, keep that passion now.
Yeah. You know what? I would say if I'm trying to think like how how to say it
Uh-huh.
in the right term, you know.
But no, just say it. Just say it. Come on, say how you feel.
I mean,
Say it with chest.
they were just you know. So what is the question? How can Trump fix it? That's basically it, right? What policies would he put in place or things well, that he do to bring it together? I would say this: it's not a policy that can get this fixed; it's a heart issue. You can't fix racism with a policy. You just can't. It's a heart issue.
So you
Somebody
said that.
talking about the division between races. Oh. Division in general. Just division. Well, like I would say that has a lot to do with the media, for sure. That has a lot to do with that. I mean,
So
I'm not blaming all of the media. There are people that again play a role in all this together. But I also think that the media plays the ultimate role in this.
so the racism and the bigotry and the hate that's going on amongst the colors, you think all of this is a heart issue?
I think so. I think it is definitely a hard issue because how can you look at someone who's a different color, like how can you look at them not the same as someone else? Like we are all the same in God's eyes. I I don't look at someone and say, oh, you are not the same as me. Like, no, you are the same as me. You don't look through their like color. You look at their heart. Like I don't look at people and determine on who
think that's where it needs to be fixed first. That's the foundation. It's a heart issue.
What changes in my heart when I'm just asking forgiveness? How's that heart change?
Jesus, like Jesus is the only one who can change our hearts. Like he's the only one who can do it. There, like he is the God. Like there's no other name. It's just him. And so when you accept him as Christ and as Lord and Savior over your life, man, like he will change you. It's not like overnight you're gonna be a totally different person. It's a daily process. It's a daily surrender, and it's a daily of getting into his word. He changes you over time. And I think like we need to go back to the word.
So you're saying,
White people who don't want to be around black people who don't want to be around white people, do you think it changes their heart?
With him? Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
My only question is, why is the church the most segregated unit entity in the United States?
I think that's because it's a big show. It's a big show. It's literally not all of them are, I would say, but I would say like they want to surround themselves with, as much as it hurts to say, I feel like they want to just surround themselves with just, it's like a small, I don't know how to really explain it. What I do know is the church needs to wake up and know like everyone is the same. It doesn't matter who you are. We are all sinners. Yeah. And you can say that heart is the way to blood, not only to Jesus. Yeah. So, well, it questions, because then I'm like, then why, I mean, then, if they're a pastor of the church, and they run, like, what I'm saying, then why don't they have the same heart as other Christians do, right? Like, it's a heart issue, and I think that they need to reevaluate what they're doing in that position if they are, like, divided. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, and I think at the end of the day, the solution to any problem, the ultimate solution, it always goes back to God. It always goes back to the gospel.
Yeah.
However, this, and all, comes to light and people talking in the conversation, kind of happening where I didn't have to be on this with what do you think about racism? Well, they're not people talking openly. Racism runs wild, not just outside of the church, but inside the church.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, like, not just here, around the world. And if you look here in the United States, especially, if you think about other countries and people just let people get along their time, there's always been there's always been this division in the United States. It's probably nothing, it's always been the same thing, right? It's like we're trained from the young to not trust each other, trust the other way. If we do their own 100, that's why white people talk about, my first level tied over there, and black and I was trying to do that. I never do that. Too long. Right?
Right.
Okay. So if the news is a black suspect was it? Black suspect was asked, and it's like oh, that's who the suspect is. It's a black individual. And it's against someone said, well, that's real. And every single one of those things is real. And then my question is, why are you always running every story from certain parts of the city when there's just as much going on in other parts of the city that you don't run those stories? Yeah. And that's from someone who's worked in the city. And we're trained this stuff that's put in us from as a young age. If you don't have a family that normalizes life, you have someone or that fuel that. And then so I can keep on from a white person's perspective, and I'm obviously, for me and my brother, like a bunch of our friends are black dudes growing up, and then especially as we got older, I know there's black people out there that they don't believe in black people everywhere. So again, I can speak for what life is like and what's not. I can't know what to do. Just like this one, if they could just do this day, then it's like, if it's not true. And listen to this. Yeah. So you're walking into this is I'm talking about. All right, so I walk in mine so I can speak on my thing. Yeah. But I can't speak on a black man or woman situation in America because I'm not black. So that's why yeah. And that's why that's from being a kid, what is it like to start how a lot of white people will think black people, black young men especially, like, that struggle with getting hurt, someone, feel something, whatever that may be. I guess they're in America, you have that problem. So you get that as you're younger, you're going to start to start. What's said to a young black man going in America about white people?
Well, I mean, honestly, what's said to black people is that it's almost like you have to walk around on eggshells so that you don't necessarily get in trouble. You have to be very cautious when you get around the police, uh, almost to the point of not being scared, but borderline. When you see the police, when black people drive and they see the police, sometimes they get a little tense because they don't want to get stopped or pulled over. And it's like we have to work extra hard just to achieve because it's always been said that you know you have to outdo your competition. So if you go up against white people, you got to be better than them. You can't be the same. You have to be better. Yeah. Because in order to achieve anything, yeah, you have to be better. Like, if you're gonna do anything, like when my mom was in school, in high school, she had to be an overachiever. She walked the stage of valedictorian, and she was pregnant with me. So being pregnant already, they was already striking her out. But they were going to make sure that she did not walk, even though she was the smartest thing in the school. They were going to make sure that she did not walk. So she had to work extra hard and do extra work just to maintain the valedictorian and to graduate because they weren't going to give it to her. And the funny part about it is, guess who gave her the award? Guess who gave her the award? Bill and Hillary Clinton. Dead serious. Bill and Hillary Clinton gave her the award.
That is wild.
Mm-hmm. Like, you can pull that up. But it's like, that's just,
There's that thought. You got to always achieve to get to the position you know,
Absolutely.
You said that change.
And then even when you get to the position, there's always this thought in the back of the mind that they can easily replace me with somebody that's just as dumb, don't know what I'll know, or don't know what I know, or how hard I work. But then you'll put me in this position to train somebody else who's not qualified, but you want them to take my place.
So you know, we as a white man, I never understand what black people have to go through. I never walked in their shoes. And sometimes in life, you have to just sit down. In order to hear from their point of view, you have to take a seat and you have to listen to what they are going through day in and day out because we don't see this stuff. We
Absolutely.
don't see this stuff. And the thing is, like, you may think, well, you even if a white man had a hard life growing up, you they still can't say what black people are going through.
Right.
You cannot say that because you never walked in their shoes.
Right.
Every every one of us needs to just listen to what they have to say and their pain and their heartache and their hardships and then understand and have compassion.
Bro, you literally just said everything I just said.
No,
That's why we're listening.
it's
That's why we're listening to Jives tell us right
yeah,
now.
yeah. It's and also too. It's parents like white parents need to literally teach their kids this stuff. That's how also hearts can change too, because it's
What?
teach their kids on like
You
like
don't have to
don't
teach.
don't
You
look
don't,
at them.
you don't have to teach your kids not to be racist.
No, I'm
Just kids who grow up to be racist were taught to be racist.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly.
Kids aren't
So
racist.
you
They're
know,
like, oh,
so you set the example for your kids. You set the example for your
Right.
kids.
But see, Trey, what you have to understand is that there are two different worlds going on here. Now, me being honest, um, I grew up with white friends.
Yeah.
We didn't see color. That was my friend. You know, it's just that by the time children start going to school, that's when the divide comes. You know, when kids start going to school, you may have the teacher who gives Johnny a little bit more slack than he would Lil Robert, Lil Raekwon, something like that. You know, the teacher would teach Lil Raekwon like he has issues or he's just, super bad, but Lil Johnny over here can just get away with murder. When I was in school, I experienced that and I didn't understand what that was because I was just like, why is the teacher being so mean to me? And then I went home, unbeknown to me, I started watching Roots. I was in the fifth grade and watching Roots. I didn't know how to take that because I was like, white people did that to black people. Like I didn't know how to really feel about that because I was like, is this what really happened? So then the next day I go to school and I have attitude. So then I started acting out and being a little bit much. I never did that before until I saw that movie. And then you know what I said to my teacher because my teacher got smart with me and told me to take my feet off. And she said, I'm gonna call your mother. You're incapable of learning. You just want to be hard headed and disobedient. I said, this is exactly what white people have done to black people for all these years. I said that as a fifth grader. So the teacher called my mom, and hold on, teacher called my mom, and then oh no, I got a beat down. I got a beat down, and my mom was like, "You gonna go back to school? You gonna apologize to the teacher because you shouldn't have been doing all that." I was like, "I didn't do that wrong." So then I went to school the next day because obviously when you're getting beat down, you got whelps all over and carrying on. I said, "This is what you did to me, seriously." And you know what the teacher did for me? She called Child Protective Services on my mom. So then
So she started.
Right. So then next thing you know, Child Protective Services is at my mom's house because my mom whooped me because I was acting out in class because that's what the teacher told her. And instead of looking, well, I would have to say, looking at it now, like I wish my mom would have not whooped me and just had a conversation with me because I was acting out because my teacher called my mother to say some bull crap. And I, in essence, got a whooping because my mom is only hearing that I'm acting out in class, not to even figure out why. Right. And it's a lot of kids nowadays who do exactly that. They act out because it's like they're fighting two different people. You got to deal with the school, and then you got to deal with your parents. Your parents, I know my parents are from the old school. Like, or did you call that woman a lie? And if you say yes, you're gonna get a whooping. And if you say no, and the teacher's telling the truth, you said the teacher lied. No, so I'm gonna whip you because you just acting out, and the teacher was telling the truth on you. So it's just like
So that feeling of I could get in trouble and not it starts feeling young. Because often it's
absolutely
the bad apple in the school system to make you feel, wait a minute, I'm looked at different by some people.
right. There isn't like even when it comes down to
That's what that feels like.
the actual history of Black people, who gonna put that in the history books? That was never put in the history books. Who's gonna put in the history books that that the many things that Black people have done, but before being in slavery now, before the Atlantic slave trade, where is that information in our history books? They're not going to put it there. So then you have a lot of Black people who are woke to the stuff and they speak it, but then they're called hate groups because you're saying, no, we weren't slaves before the slave trade. We were actually doing XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. No, everything was not perfect, but this is the truth of the African American story. But what I always knew growing up, especially in fifth grade, that I never knew anything prior to 1600 because they said we were afterthought. They called us monkeys. They said, we've always been in slavery. We've always been somebody's whatever, and that was never the truth. But this is what Black people have to deal with. And now coming out of this, you want to come out and be free, but you still got a whole lot of people that still feel like, this is where they stuck instead of wanting to be better because they have the mindset this is the way it's gonna always be.
You think this is the way it's arguing?
Heck no. I think I honestly think that America and the world pretty much is is getting to a point where it's going to be one big melting pot. It's not going to be as divided as we have known it to be because races mix, people fall in love with somebody every day, but that's that's been one of the things that people have been trying to keep from happening for years is the mixing of the races because just like with Hitler, Hitler wanted a pure race.
Right.
So it's like, why do you want to pure? What makes you feel like this particular race is the supremacist of it all? That's not correct wording, but whatever.
That's what you think about.
And I mean, you did a poem about um,
Can you imagine just think like being that this evil maniac and saying I want a bunch of
you want a bunch of who?
me's. I mean,
Oh,
right? saying this is the perfect grace. It's like all from what? This psychopath. That's not good. What was the phone?
You were talking about Ahmad Arbery, the one you sent me.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember the rap? You sent that to me, and I what I tell a lot of people is, I said there are white people that get it and that will stand up for you quicker and harder than your own people, because even when it was um, slavery times and the oppressed times, there were white people who sympathized and treated their people a lot different. Now, they may have some black people might have been slaves up under them, but they treated them with a little bit of dignity and respect, because they were just like, this is not okay. And then as the years progressed and slavery was abolished, there were white people who felt like, I never agreed with slavery. I never thought that that was okay, but that was the world that I was brought up in. Like my great grandmother, she grandma was born in she was born she was born during those times. She was born in the 1900s. So it's like she lived to be 80 something, but she's seen all of that stuff.
So she was born at the beginning of the 1900s.
Yes,
So you're talking about
1913.
you're subbing 50 years right after the Civil War, a little less than that.
hmm
So I mean, the country just come off of that.
But just think
That's
about it.
wild. Think about that wasn't that long ago.
It's 2020.
Right.
So technically, we're talking about 120 years ago. There are some people that are still alive. I mean, they're old as dirt, but they're still alive. And they can tell you
What life was
exactly
like.
what life was like. I mean, this is the stuff that, this is the reason why we have the BLM movement, the alt-right, white supremacy, and all this other stuff like that, is because BLM is saying Black Lives Matter, and a lot of the alt right and regular people are saying all lives matter. But what you have to understand is, when you say when you when you say all lives matter, all lives need to matter. Not just because it's Black Lives Matter, but or anything like that. But I truly believe that if I say all lives matter, I mean everybody's life matter, including the police. But everybody needs to stop their foolishness. Like, stop pulling over black people and trying to beat the crap out of them. Stop profiling people walking in neighborhoods and thinking that they're coming to do some harm. Like, if I'm like, I don't live here, but if I'm walking here, I mean, clearly it's a free country. I'm here visiting my brother, and if a police pulls me over and says, "Who are you? What are you doing here? Where do you live at?" Why do I have to be drilled with 50 million questions when there is a possibility that I could be a owner of one of these $1 million mansions around here? Why is that so hard to believe?
Yeah, that experience being pulled up. Like,
Yeah, I
it's
had
like,
this. I was driving home one night from church, and the police had, well, my tent was dark. I had a Mustang, and my tent was limo tent. And the police pulled me over and was like, "Get out the car right now." And I'm looking like, "What?" And I had, I already rolled my window down or whatever, but I was nervous. He said something was wrong with my license. And I'm like, "But does it cause for all of that?"
Like I was nervous that that might have been it for me, because the first thing I see when you come up to my window is you got a nine pointed at me and was like, "Get out right now. Let me see your driver's registration." And I'm like, I don't know how to move because if I move, you might just let some rounds off in me. So this is the fear that black people have to live in because at the end of the day, it's like, why are you treating me like this? You just pulled me over and you asked me a simple question. And the reason why black people are so hostile when they get pulled over is because of everything that's been going on. Like black people literally, to some degree, when they get pulled over, are in fear for their life. Now, ironically, you don't see white people that live like this because they get pulled over. Oh, hi, how you doing? Hey, ma'am, you was doing, like 112 back there. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know. Oh, let me see your driver's license registration. Oh my God, I have my driver's license. I can't see the final registration. And then the police say, "Oh, that's okay. Let me just, check your driver's license." Things will pop up in the computer. All right, ma'am, there you go. Take your time. Take this as a warning. Go ahead. Talk to you later. Black people will not get that. Will not get that. Now, I have had a few police officers who were really cool. And I was like, wow, really cool, real nice. And, if something was wrong or whatever, they just say, all right, man, I'm just going to give you a warning. Go and go get that fixed, or you got a tail light out. Go, I'm give you a warning, but just to let you know, if you get pulled over again, the next cop might give you a ticket or something like that. See, I've run into police officers like that, white police officers like that, but everybody is not like that. It's like there is like something in their minds that just says black people. Get out, get the car right now. I'm like, what? You know, there are a lot of instances like that. And is it perpetrated in the media? Absolutely. But this is what we see. We never get a chance to see the good cops. And there are good cops out there. But we don't get a chance to really see them because the media perpetrates a narrative that this is what the cops are doing. So now all black people feel some type of way. Because if all you're showing me on the media is black guys getting killed, black guys, women being killed by the police, then what do we say? F12. Is that right? 612, somebody. Yeah, F12. What did we see with George Floyd? Even though that is very questionable, what we saw with George Floyd was a black man with a white man's knee on his neck, and that enraged the entire world. When there were also other people around who could have did something but didn't do anything. So then the media sits up there and keeps showing this police officer over and over, and it incites fear, it incites hate, it incites anger within groups of people, and even white people are like, "What the hell is going on? That shit's not okay." And it's like now you got a world that's upset because they're just like, now look, y'all right here killing black folks. Listen, y'all done did this long enough. It's dumb and stupid. Stop it. You police officers need not to be using that type of force with people that you put over. Because we clearly watched, I know I did about 10 minutes of all the video footage. And I was just like, what did the guy do? So y'all pulled him over for $20? A $20 bill? Had the cost for all of this? That's why I said it's inciting a race issue. Look at all of these people that have been killed, all black people. Then Ironically, you may find one. Well, I just don't see it. I haven't seen a white person get done like this. I just haven't. I haven't seen a white person get yoked up by the police.
Actually, more white people get killed or this or that or this. What no one talks about is what you're talking about, the experience of being treated like dirt.
Yeah, this is not just started yesterday. This is a constant.
Where are the stats for that? How many times you get treated good or like dirt in this situation or in black police officer or whatever? Because I know in my life there's been a couple of times where I thought something of a group or whatever, and then when treated like dirt, everything changed. I was like, not only am I not support that group, they're shady, and forever I'm going to be sketched out by them. So I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. And it's like a whole smaller way of a much bigger thing. It's super, super wrong. But it's never going to change, man. Like if it changes here, it's not going to change somewhere else. Like right now, we were talking about literally there's slavery going on in the Middle East.
Hmm.
And who are the slaves? They're being taken from Africa.
Hmm.
And we saw the footage from Libya just a couple of years ago. Where's the
I think they were being
media
sold for
about
like
it?
$5.
Man,
Like it was some like ridiculous number. Like you had people that were being sold in the millennial year, and nobody seems to see nothing wrong with
that
that. And that story went away.
it was barely talked about.
And
Barely.
then did you see the black people that were being burned alive?
No, what was that?
Same place.
No, like, I heard something about not the Middle East, but in Libya, where they're being taken out of Northern Africa. Um, like, yeah, I don't want to say it, but yeah, I heard stuff. Really bad stuff. Really, really, really bad stuff. Stuff that, like, if you put it on the news here, people would just lose their minds because they're like, I didn't think that actually happened to me. That's why I posted when I saw, oh wow, there's slave trading going on right now, and what year is it? And I said, if those people you see right there, all those pictures, right? I said, in Libya, I said, if what was going on there was being done to white children, we'd be talking about it.
If that was done in America, there would be people would be having a cow.
It'd be a war.
We would seriously be at war if there were white children being shackled and beat. That would be a major problem. But
We have to do something right now, and rightfully so. But it is happening right now, and nobody seems to care.
well, it is happening with the sex
Literally,
trade,
yeah,
with child molestation and
yeah, for
porn.
sure.
Like,
But we literally know where it's happening with slavery, modern day slavery. We've seen it, videos, we've
uh
seen the pictures, we know it's happening. It's not fake news to anybody who has the ear to the pavement and actually knows what's up. So why hasn't that been stopped? Why haven't we gone into those countries and set people free? Why hasn't there been a national hashtag day for that?
If
Which,
you
by the way, is
read
so stupid. Like, post on this day about this thing. It's like, how many times? For real, about everything?
if you read Psalms 83, I believe that's what it was. It talks about all of that. It talks about black people being sent into other countries, divided, and to make your name no more. Now this has been prophesied long. Remember I was telling you about that? But black people think that one, because it's been depicted for so long, that we are an afterthought when we are all throughout the Bible. It's been depicted to us that that white people is the superior race. That's what's been told to us. And as I've always said, the reason why we are like this and these countries are like they are is because who won the war? We're not talking about World War One, World War Two. We're talking about this stuff prior to the setting up of the Bible. Who won the war was, I think it was Rome, Greece, or something like that. They won the war. So they took the Bibles and they put all the knowledge from different countries together and made the Holy Bible. And they made every person that was major in the Bible white. So when they tell stories about the Bible, they're always white figurines.
Oh, yeah, now they're on the 50 white.
No, it's been like that. I mean, you any black home that you will go in prior to
What, for white Jesus?
it would be a it would be white Jesus, John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King on the wall. No lie. Malcolm X, it would be white Jesus and John F. Kennedy on the wall. Y'all hear me out here? Wait. Do y'all remember online? Do y'all remember back in the day at your grandmother's house? You would look on the wall, you would see white Jesus, John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King. That's what I saw.
Nah, I remember my buddy's house.
Because they thought that they was the saviors.
But now what would those pictures be?
Oh, don't nobody have that in the house no more. Don't nobody put that. Like you saw your grandparents do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I saw my grandparents do that.
So my grandma
But
put up pictures and said, yeah, that was a big thing. I feel like, especially in the South.
yeah, that is a southern
Yeah,
thing.
that's a southern thing.
That's a southern thing. But I mean, this for black people, we've always been looking for a savior.
I feel like, why, why this, why that, and why did all this happen? And then you have,
It's so many things that bring about questions.
but that's the thing. I mean, it's not hard to figure out in this sense, uh, to figure out how to fix everything. Yeah, okay, that's
I mean,
hard.
we can sit here and have the questions.
But to talk, like that's hard for people.
They don't want to talk.
They don't want to.
And this is not Trey. This is not anything at you. But there are people just like Trey who are not willing to hear anything, and they will fight you tooth and nails because they feel that they're right. They will fight you tooth and nails, and if they feel offended by you, they'll want to do harm to you.
Yeah, but along still with this, like sometimes
So I okay. I got a question because like I said, I remember you doing the poem about it. How did you feel? How do you feel? And Trey, I'm asking this too. How do you feel with the constant deaths of black people, like the shootings, the pulling over of the cars? How do, like what goes through your head when you know what I'm saying? 100. Maybe I need to have you to pause. Trey, when did it become a shock factor for you? That was a whole fool. And people act like that's not real. Right, right. It said white blessings. Uh-uh. I ain't heard nothing about no white blessings. Trey, how you feel?
It
Huh?
really, it's just, I
I didn't look.
really,
I didn't. Yeah.
I really hurt when I see that happen, when innocent people are being killed just by the color of their skin. Um, and I was raised like of always being taught like one thing that I can say that the best advice I can give that my parents taught me was to love everybody
All right.
equally. Doesn't matter what the color of their skin is because we're all the same. And unfortunately, not everyone has parents like that. That's why I mention like I think parents need to set the example because that's where it starts is in the home. It is things behind the scenes that no one sees. That is where the base starts at. Um, and so yeah, it's a terrible thing. And I wish that it would stop. I really do. However, in this society, people, it's as a reality as is, it's never gonna stop if it's stops here, it won't stop somewhere else, right? There's always going to be that, and that's the sad part to it. And it's just
Yeah, I
like we
thought you
just
just
got to
had that light on.
teach our kids how to
How's that
set
one?
the example. So
I think that one at the top is supposed to be like a lighthouse
I think so too, which is cool because
because the windows are up there.
yeah, and that's always like been my dad's symbol, lighthouse. He's real nautical. So I mean, and growing up, the lighthouse, the real lighthouse, we have pictures of that from when I was like a little baby every year growing up. But how are you supposed to change that light bulb?
Yeah,
It's way too high. I don't know
a
how you
really
go up
tall
there to
ladder.
change it. Really tall ladder.
I must be a tall ladder, man. That's all I can say.
I mean, Trey, I feel like, and I agree with you that a lot of this stuff goes on. Uh, a friend of mine, her uncle was killed in Jasper, Texas, being drugged behind a pickup truck, and then had his penis cut off, stuck in his mouth, and drugged down the road for 3 miles. And then he was drugged until his arm came off, and he was decapitated. Do you not know that they marched in that town because they felt that, well, at first nobody did anything, but the white people, they didn't do anything because they felt it was okay. It was what it was. That's how they felt. Then when the Black Panthers and stuff came into town, then here comes the KKK because they felt like, don't bother our boys. It was just another black person. And then black people are like, we're tired of you guys doing this stuff. We're tired of seeing black men, black women hung up in trees. Like, this is like, so then my question is, why do white people hate black people so much?
Oh, that's funny. What? Why people hate black people so much?
Yeah. You got all spiffied up.
I got cool.
You got thick socks. What the world?
I told you, I got cool. Mouth sucks. And
I
That's
just,
that's a deep one, and I don't have an answer to that one. Really,
what is
honestly,
it?
I don't have an answer to that.
why do white people hate black people so much? Like, I mean, like, okay, you guys, that's a different story because, like,
Bro, I just don't
obviously.
because I don't live that. I don't see it.
Bro,
So
how
it's
you just
just
said that was funny. You know, because I was with Blake Riley. We were like in the Baltimore riots, like trying to like genuinely help people, pray for people, and stuff like that. But we were out we were out. It was real late, and they like put curfew in place and stuff. People were breaking in, with all this police and people facing off, and all these dudes were started chanting "Death to White America, Death to White America," and then Blake and I, and we've been talking to one of these dudes like all day, just hearing the stories. He was chanting, and then he looked over and saw us, and then he was like, "We're not you two, you guys are cool." That's like,
But this is what happens though.
I'm like,
Like, you have some white people that are genuinely, they understand what's going on, they get it, and I mean, consequently, they get grouped in with everything else because they're white. And I mean, true, there are good white people out here, just like there are bad people, black people out here. But it's like when you're fighting, you see nothing but wrong, and you're fighting the wrong, and you have people that get caught up and that are in as casualties. Now we have the Black Lives Movement going on and stuff like that, but you, like, even in those marches, because I was down in Tampa, there are people that are right there marching with you because they believe in the cause, and some don't. But at the same time, it's
What do you mean you have people right there with you much?
like you, there are white people down
Oh,
there,
white people.
black people, Puerto Ricans, and all because they're tired.
Yeah.
And so it's just like,
There's a yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, there's just like there's a constant question when I see uh some white people get on and they say some of the comments like these Karens and these Ken dogs I hear that say some of the crazy
Me
stuff
too. Me
about black people like go back to your country. Well, you go back to your country too.
Oh yeah, I heard
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, who says that?
Yeah.
Who the heck says go back to your country? We're not originally from here. None of us. White people, for the most part, were escaping the monarchy that was in England and some in Spain. And the pilgrims and stuff wanted to be free from that. So they left and they came, didn't discover America, but you came and stole a country from a people. You know what I'm saying?
History of America.
Huh?
History of America.
Yeah, the history of America.
Um, oh, there's something I was going to tell you, bro. And then also change your mind like that. I don't know. I just come back to me. Come back to me. I think one way or another, it all comes down to trust. It gets shattered on both sides. Here in America, we see which side which side is shattered and why they're shattered and which side is shattered and then also the why. Like everybody, regardless of where you go, is going to have a thought about another race.
Hmm.
But is that based on their experience or is it based on what they've been told? That's what I'm trying to say.
It could be a mixture of both. It could be a mixture of
So a
both because some
mixture of
people, you like me personally, I growing up, I never had like bad experiences with white people because we've always kind of just been cool, like no problems, whatever. But there are those isolated incidents where I'm just like, why did you do that? And then you ask them why they do it, they don't even know. Like, do I believe in white privilege? Absolutely, I do. But I believe that with anything and anybody, you have to work hard, regardless of to white privilege or not, because nothing is handed to you. Even to the white man who you think he has white privilege, he has to work hard. Period. If you want a job, you got to work hard and show yourself worthy. Now, sometimes you're gonna have to fight extra hard to get where you need to get to. Like, if have you seen The Butler
yeah.
with what's the
No,
name
I haven't seen it, but I know what it is.
with Oprah Winfrey? This man fought for different people in the White House, black people, to get better jobs, and for years he had to go up against the head man in charge in the White House, and then finally it happened. And then the white dude who was in the position of hiring and firing told the black butler, he said, you ought to be grateful. Remember where I found you. Mhm. So it's always like, if I help you, I can also hurt you too.
That would be a really that'd be a really good thought. Because you feel like you're under somebody's thumb all the time.
Absolutely.
You think things like affirmative action help? I know.
Affirmative action.
You have to have this many uh, black students at this college. You have to have this, so it's a way to like keep that from happening supposedly, or it's a way.
I think if you put it like that, I think affirmative action is good because it makes sure that everybody is in to some degree around everybody. This stuff with this stuff with this wall is ridiculous.
But this affirmative action is more like, see, a lot of white people don't like it, have a problem with it because you have to have a certain amount of numbers. So even if there might be a white student from over here who has a better GPA than a black student here, and they apply to the same school, but based off of however many numbers of what, however many people they have, that white student wouldn't get it.
Right. But
So then that's why people are like, I'm not saying white privilege if I I don't have that opportunity. So you see how it's like you'll hear things on all sides.
okay, somebody said no matter where the starting point is, people still have to work hard. Affirmative action helps lessen the privilege gap in colleges, etc. I agree. I mean, you make sure that everybody's given equal opportunity, but everybody's not given an equal opportunity.
You know, one thing I would be interested in now, colleges, universities, how much weight they put in when you graduated from high school, based on like that school's ranking. Because you obviously see schools in the suburbs are always like, that's the school to go to. It's got money's pushed in there and everything, right? So I wonder, you go to one of those schools rather than a school that's not in the burbs, but you have the same GPA, exactly, and I wonder if that is a determining factor too.
Mm,
Think about that. Oh, okay, they went to this high school rather than ours. I wonder if that affects admission.
mm.
This
Well,
is in India, like the IP, Indianapolis public schools. Growing up, everybody would always talk about the IPS. Those schools, that nah, it's not good for education or whatever, but athletics is the best. What are they really saying?
they're pushing athletes.
I mean, they're
You can
saying
be
it's
dumb as rocks.
they're saying it's a black school. That's why they're the best in all the sports. And
Hmm.
but that's not a good school to go to academics. They're saying that without saying that.
Well, they're basically saying that we're pushing you to become athletes, and this is why you have every time you go to the basketball court, you got tons and tons of black men out there trying to play because they have in their head, because this is what's been pushed. If I play the sports, this will get me out the hood. If I become the best, this will get me out the hood. Not really even understanding that once you get to that, get a contract, actually get on a team, there's a whole nother world that you got to deal with. Not only that, but once you get it, you're going to have women, men that are going to come at you with all kinds of devices, just like with anything else. But nobody is ever giving you those instructions beforehand. You know,
Yeah.
like if you tell these young men that are so gung ho to be a basketball player, hey, you work hard, But when you make it, you need to watch out for this. Nobody's saying that. The only thing uh, young black men see, this thing is about to fall out my ear. The only thing that I see young black men doing or being at them is they're thrown at them is a lot of money. And that's all they see. They see lots of money. That's why in the rap world, you see lots of money. Now we know the behind story of what this really goes on because some of these people are faking it until they make it. But to a young black man who is good at sports, good at raps, the only thing that they see is money. And that's what they want to aspire to do. So they're going to spend all day being lazy, sitting around the house all day, not doing nothing, and just rapping. Never doing nothing, never trying to push it out there. They just a rapper. But they're not told that you have to work hard to get your stuff out here. Because they really don't appreciate money because they've always been used to spending it. Because as soon as they get a little change, they spend it because they got to look like they got it going on. Instead of just working where you at and getting out there and making moves. And when you get your money, invest, save, buy things that's going to acquire, that's going to build you equity.
Yeah. Are there, like, you know, older, old heads to tell these things, like, watch out for this, and that? I feel like now, more than ever, there's strong uh, voices like the black community, strong black men with voices that stand up for things that are respected and listened to. Maybe that's a new thing that's happening. I don't know. But I think there should be more of that. Like, hey, this is the way to go. Don't load on that. You think about LeBron James and all the advocacy he's done and the awareness he's tried to spread and the way that he lets his people have these, what is it high school or college? I know he's got a school that he's opened up.
Yeah, he made a school.
So he's just doing all sorts of things. It's
Hmm.
just incredible.
But see, he's just an example
Yeah, that's
of
what I'm
people
saying.
doing great things.
So it's happening more now than it hasn't before.
I think it's sporadic.
Yeah.
It's sporadically because let me tell you something. Not that I'm feel like he's saying this publicly, but uh, like what we work on. Like when people see that, they'll see the difference because it's two people working together to do something positive. Two different people from different walks of lives, but they have a similar testimony, a similar story.
Respect. This is where respect.
Yeah, and it's like we ain't got no. I mean, like regardless of the color of the skin, it's like I respect you, you respect me. It never has anything to do with oh you're a black man, you're a white man. No, it's like we're two men. At the end of the day, we're two men that have worked our butts off in the industry, and we want to grow. We're tired of excuse me. Oh, the small chitlin circuit of people that hate you, don't like you. What can I do to get a message out to the world that this does not have to be like this? And all we got to do is be the example. Like, huh? What Obama say? Be the change that you're looking for,
You really thinking about white blessing?
huh?
You really thinking
You know what? I heard something about it, but it just kind of went because I was like, they can't be saying that for real. The white blessing. Who started that? Who started that? Who? Oh, Sister T. Okay.
Uh, it was a conversation between the Christian rapper, the critic, and the pastor in Georgia, Louis Big Wheel. And then like
Wait, I did hear about that because I remember Lecrae now said something stupid, and it really hasn't got a lot of buzz.
I'm not like I think he really came on the fact he didn't say anything back like when something was said. But
So
maybe he
what?
said something after that. I don't know. But
So what is with everybody thinking that slavery was an option? I just
it,
I'm so confused with that. Like slavery was an option.
not an option. Instead of saying white, uh, instead of saying white privilege, what if we said white blessing?
That's a crackhead. I promise you.
I mean, that's he says this is
So instead of
that's
saying white privilege,
that's what
white blessings.
that was the summary, but
Do you not know that that's going to add division, more division in the
there
church?
was an intent to say the tie-in, the curse of sin and salvation and the cross. It was just like probably not thought out, obviously, ever maybe, or just again we talked about like there are there are a lot of people who straight up just and
Yeah.
it's always gonna be like that, bro.
I mean,
They just they'll never get it.
I feel like to say something like that is going to incite more chaos and confusion amongst the people
Confusion or
because it's just like white people saying that we're better. We get the blessings.
we should go look up the clip and then put down hey put down David stuff down, but it's
I think I
it's just like man, I miss Billy Graham a lot. I miss Billy Graham like I miss some of the voices that would be really good to have in times like these.
or those individuals are dying off.
You know,
And that's the sad part.
it's the
People
sad
that
part.
actually have a voice and that could speak to the people are dying off. So what are you left with? A retarded race of people. No matter the skin color. This is a younger generation that's radical. And they don't have an ear for wisdom. They only want what they feel is right.
Even the older generation right now,
Hmm.
because yeah, even that because I get tired of people too being like pointing at us and younger and like we got stuck here with all the problems that you guys did. What the issue?
Somebody said we're left with folks with mental issues speaking with amplified voices.
That's me.
That is the truth. Oh, they're talking about Kanye West.
I know, but still, I was like, that's kind of me.
I mean, if that is the truth, if that's if that's the truth, it's like you have people out here who feel like they're the voice for somebody's community, and then they say some of the dumbest things. And I keep asking the question. People are saying we want justice. What is justice?
We want change. What's change?
What's change?
That's the thing I keep asking. Is like, what does it look like?
Like
Let's do it.
make your request known and make it plain.
That's the thing. So I'm tired. Like I'm confused, man, about everything more than ever in my life. Just confusion, confusion about our culture, our country, our government, confusion about the church, where it stands, confusion about leaders, people I thought were certain people in leadership. I mean, again, that's why I'm like, I miss the Billy Grahams because I miss the times when we had leaders who didn't come around like this. Hey, King James, I know you're black, and can I say black or can't not say African American?
Hmm?
Or should I say African American black? Or should I just not say your color and just, or yeah, I just don't want to offend you, but I want to talk to you about your experience. But listen, man, I'm just a white guy. Yeah, that's what we got now. That's what we got now.
Yeah,
That's what we have now.
yeah.
Or you have the other side, which is just I've got all the answers and you're beneath me and here I am, white. That's the other. That hopefully just like smaller and smaller until it's not there. What we don't have, which is what I miss, which is the Billy Graham saying, "Yo, tear down the fences. It doesn't matter. Let everybody come together, white and black, and be together." But someone to just straight up be, "Oh, there's an issue. Cool. Hey, yo, King, so you're black, I'm white. There's feelings on both sides and there's problems. Yo, what is it? Let's talk about it. And just have respect. I don't need to show up feeling, I don't know, walking on eggshells, guilty and afraid, and like that. And it shouldn't be on the other side where it's anything but this is how I feel, and I'm letting it be known. Everyone has that right. So this would be really refreshing for people, I think, to see. And it would be really refreshing for people if they knew our backstories too. Because they'd be like, wow, you wouldn't never believe that these two guys would just get along and respect each other and not yell when it comes to politics or anything. I mean, it's like, I don't get it, bro. But whoever said that about amplified voices is right. It's so right. That's the problem. The loudest people get the microphone, they get the room's attention. And we have a lot of
You have
loud
a lot of
people,
loud people.
and we have very few wise people.
Like you can get my attention,
Yeah.
but once you get my attention, what are you gonna do with it? Kanye West gets the people's attention, but sir, what are you gonna do with it? To me, Kanye is another Trump. I'm like, sir, I don't know anything about you prior to your first CD. Was it College Dropout? I know Jesus Walk. That's it. Like what have you done that's so exponential in this world? You made a clothing line that's too expensive for the average person to even buy. A clothing line that looks like a bum on the beach. But we're spending thousands of dollars for Yeezys and shoes and tattered looking clothes, but you're a billionaire now? See, to me that's stupid. But then you want to get up and say, well, Harriet Tubman Let me just turn this around so I can see my face. Harriet Tubman really didn't free the slaves. She just brought more slaves to other white people. What?
There's been a whole lot of moments just like that. Too when I'm
What?
watching him, they'll be what?
What, dude?
You know,
Like, what are you smoking?
I sympathize with Kanye in this sense. That, um, I've never heard him say it, but it's been said for him. Although maybe he has talked about it. Yeah, you know, I have not. He has struggled with bipolar and mental health. I've had my openness about struggles in similar areas, so I know, man, you can like mania, hysteria, and you can go places you don't want to go. But how many times before people around you are like, "Hey, you probably should take your phone right now, and just you probably shouldn't go out right now and do a rally." If the people really loved you close to you, they would stop that. When I had sometimes in my life now, if I'm if I'm like, oh, I really want to say this and I got to, and I'm feeling, it's like, nah, I should sleep on it, and then I should ask people around me, and they'll tell me, hey, it's your perspective, or yeah. So why is that not done? So what bothers me is that Jesus is king. When all that happened, I was someone says they gave their heart to Christ and things like that, and he's been born again, so I have no other option to celebrate that and say, yeah, praise God. And then I think after that he'd be perfect, you know, because not a hypocrite or a fool. Obviously, he's just gonna have to struggle like everyone does and will until they leave this earth. But I thought this is like this is cool. I watched it first, and I was then seeing people get involved in it, and I was hoping it would evolve into a revival of sorts, like where the gospel was being shared and stuff. And man, you know, the devil does what the devil does. Stuff just spirals. And look now, I just wonder what's going to happen. All I can do is pray for him. But if you talk about right now, the loudest voices on TV and leadership in the music industry, in the film, in any industry, it's talking about the loud people, not the wise people. And Isaiah says, "In quiet confidence shall be your strength." And I just wonder, like, where is the quiet, confident,
Hmm.
real men and women of God, like, to stand up and lead? Because as a young father, these are scary times, especially, everybody has type 1. So it's like, I want answers, and I can't. There's no one I can turn the TV on and get those answers from.
That's true.
No one. And we have Trump, President Trump, and I know like a whole ton of people that follow me love President Trump. Cool. Love whoever you want to love. But I've heard how many different stories about COVID from President Trump? How many
Hmm.
different narratives? Not just, and people say, well, that's what he's being told. That's what he's being told. That's what he's being told. And then stop being told by whoever's telling you. Or wait until say, I don't know. I'll tell you when I figure it out. But it's confusing every day. It gets worse and worse and worse, more confusing, more confusing, more confusing. And you just can't help but start to get upset. And then
Right.
that trust, you just start losing that trust for everything. And you're like, I don't believe anybody on here. And then people start to want to fight. And then again, it goes back to trust and confusion. And then people get at each other. And then we're able to let talking heads, loud ones, do what? Turn us against each other? Start a bunch bunch of issues so they can just make more money, run more live headlines because the league get released.
Mm.
It's gotta be something like rational people need to stand up and be like, can we just get back to life and can we be real about stuff so we can move through it together instead of all being actors? Like this whole thing, we wear masks now. We've always worn masks.
Always one
Everybody's
mask.
been fake since the jump. So if you say I don't wear a mask, you probably use the light. Either way.
So you are. We have been having a good conversation about the division in America and technically the world. So we have Clayton and Trey are here, and we are just discussing three civilized adults, three civilized men, just having a conversation about politics and the world. Trey, however, Trey's a Trump supporter.
Yes, I know. I'm
Uh,
a Jesus supporter.
Clayton is a Jesus supporter. I'm just a believer. I'm just a believer. They said, "Hey Trey."
Too. Just wanted to say that.
They said, "Hey Trey." They said, "Hey Clayton."
Hey, what's up? Who's that?
I just people on his
Oh,
saying.
awesome. Hey, what's up? What up?
So we're here just talking, and this is day two.
It's day two.
Yeah, this is day
Yeah.
two. We've been doing last night. I think the video might be up now, but last night we're airing that one in a few minutes, I guess, once it finishes uploading. But just good conversation. It's funny, but it's good
It is
conversation.
funny.
Somebody said day one was a mess. They
What
said
was it?
day one was a mess.
It was a mess.
Oh, that is funny.
Uh,
In all honesty, like this is where we grow from being able to hear each other and get an understanding from where each others are coming from and the perspective that another person have. Um, right then, round one was Facebook, correct. But this has been good. This has been good. That should be on YouTube in just a little bit. But anyways, I just want to just bring it to you all. Um, we're working on something here. We're working on something. So we're not going to tell you what it is. We're working on something, right? Anyways, peace out, y'all. But what is it on the refrigerator? Are them stickers?